video, I would like to talk about forgiveness. Forgiveness is a key topic for all of us. And we don't just have to forgive other people, but we also have to forgive ourselves. And that is very, very hard for a lot of people. And the reason why you feel bad in most cases is because you haven't forgiven a certain person in your life. Now, what does forgiveness mean? Forgiveness is basically holding on to anger, and it's like poison that's poisoning your soul. So if you can get rid of that poison, you're going to feel a lot better. And that's why you have to understand that forgiveness is not something that you do for other people, it is something that you do for yourself. You no longer want to feel bad, you no longer want to hold that anger inside of you, that negative energy, so you need to let it go. So what does forgiveness mean? It means that you don't forget what somebody else has done to you, but you no longer, let's say, care in that way because you've grown, okay? You can let it go because it only hurts you and it doesn't hurt them. To be angry at somebody else is really pointless because it might be that they don't even think about it anymore. Maybe you think about it every day or you feel bad about it constantly, but for them it's in the past and they don't give a damn, okay? So at first you need to be able to love yourself enough to say, okay, I will forgive that person, I will not forget, but I will let it go so that you can feel better, that you can let go of that anger and that negative energy. The second thing that you need to do is you need to forgive yourself. Maybe you've done things that weren't good. Maybe you've done wrong things to other people. Maybe you cheated people. Maybe, I don't know, you did horrible things to other people. But it's in the past. You can't change it anymore. And if you keep carrying that heavy bag of rocks with you, that's weighing you down, that's emotionally, it's not helping anyone, okay? So instead of feeling bad, you should do something to make amends, okay? But at first you need to forgive yourself because you can't change something that's in the past anymore. So forgive other people and forgive yourself. I know this is not an easy part, okay? This is hard for many people. But once you do this, your life will get better. I want to talk about worry and inner peace. Inner peace should be your number one goal because you can't really function well if you constantly have fears and worries inside of you. And worrying is basically nothing else than a negative emotion about something that hasn't happened yet. And so you feel bad, you're constantly afraid that something is going to happen, and it's like negative thinking where you try to attract the very thing that you worry about into your life. But the truth is that 90% of all our worries never actually happen. Or we'd even say 95% never actually happen. So worry is negative thinking and it's a fear-based emotion, okay? So what can you do to get rid of worries that you have? Well, first of all, if you've done something bad, you need to communicate. Let's say you need to communicate with other people. You need to try to make amends if that's going to make you feel better. You can also make a list of the things where you think, okay, what's the worst case scenario? What's, the best case scenario? So make a list of good things and bad things that could happen. And then think about what is it that you can do today to change it in a good way or in a positive way. And if there's nothing that you can do, you are no longer allowed to worry about it. So there's things that you can change and there's things that you cannot change. And thinking about the things that you cannot change is a waste of time and you need to let it go. So if you can do something about it, great. If you can't do something about it, then you need to let it go. One of the things that I've learned in my own life was, yes, you can say sorry to someone. Yes, you can feel bad about something that you've done. But sometimes sorry is not enough. Sometimes you actually have to change. You have to change your behavior and you have to make amends. You have to change the things that you have done. So sometimes it's good to make a list of all the things, of all the wrong things you've done, of all the people that you have wronged, and call them up and apologize and try to make amends. Sometimes you have to go a step further than that, which means you have to either, pay money because you've hurt them financially, or you have to do something to make up for it. And changing yourself is something that is the most difficult thing to do, but sometimes it is necessary, because if you keep hitting the same wall, if you keep running into the same problems, then maybe you are the problem. Maybe you need to change. Maybe it's not the other person's fault or other people's fault. So be aware, or ask yourself honestly, if whatever problems you keep running into, if you are the problem and if you need to change. One of the most important things to understand in this world is that everything is energy. You are energy. You are a spiritual being made out of energy. And inside of you, you have positive emotions, you have negative emotions, and you have positive and negative energy. And you need to release the negative energy because it is hurting you, it is killing you. Now, how do you do that? Now, let's look at a glass, okay? And you know that the glass can be half full or half empty or whatever you've heard, but this is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the energy, the vessel that you have. And let's say you have your 100% usually, but 20% is filled with anger, okay, because you're angry about something. Then you have 11% worry. You have 25% fear, okay, and you have all these negative emotions, and let's say you're up to 70% full of negative energy, and only 30% inside of you has room for positive things. And if you really want to make a comeback in your life, if you want to improve your life, if you want to change things, you first need to empty out that negative energy. You need to get rid of all these negative emotions so that you can be open for positive things again, so that you have emotional and mental energy to perform well at whatever it is that you want to do in your life. So therefore, you need to first release negative energy. And how do you do that? Well, there's many techniques how you can do that. I mean, one thing is going out into nature. Nature is great. Going to the ocean, going into the mountains, whatever it is for you that makes you feel happy. But you need to recharge your batteries. Second of all, what you can do is you can eat healthy and exercise, okay? Because that is going to cleanse you in some way. And it's going to get rid of negative emotions. Especially, exercise is great to get rid of things. When you have a fight, you say, walk it off. Remember? Walk it off. It's going to change how you feel about something. So you need to release the negative tension and energy, and there's a lot of ways how to do that. But in order for you to be powerful and positive, you also obviously need to feed yourself or your brain with positive things. Now, those things are setting new goals, dreaming about new goals, writing down, listening to positive messages, reading books, things like that. So you need to first get rid of the negative things, and then second, you need to fill yourself with new positive things. And that is important if you want to move forward. I also want to talk about guilt. A lot of us feel guilty about something that they have done. So basically, guilt is not forgiving yourself. But what is guilt? Guilt is basically, it's like carrying a bag of rocks and you have it constantly over your shoulders and it wears you down. It depletes you of your positive energy. And the more guilt you carry around with you, the less are you open and able to perform positive things in this world. So ask yourself, if you got rid of that bag with heavy rocks, what would change in your life? If you drop it, basically, it's going to make you lighter. It's going to make you feel better because this bag with heavy rocks doesn't help anyone. Feeling guilty doesn't serve any purpose. So you need to let go of guilt. Yes, you might have done bad things. You cannot change them anymore. So do what you can today with what you have. If you can change it, then do that. But if you can't change it, feeling bad doesn't help anyone. And you need to let go of guilt because that emotion is wearing you down. I also want to talk about revenge. If somebody has hurt you and you have, let's say, your first reaction is to hurt them back, that is a negative action, negative emotion that is never going to end well for you. Okay, whatever a person has done to you is not your job to judge them as a policeman or so, because they have their own karma. It's also a childish game. Somebody says something bad to you and you feel like you need to say something hurtful back. It's never going to end well. It's never the answer. So don't think in terms of revenge, because revenge is not a positive thing in this world and it's never going to end well for you. The same applies to rudeness. In my opinion, there's not really any kind of justification for rudeness. But if someone is rude to you and you are rude back, then it's going to turn into this fight, okay? But let's say someone is rude to you. What does that really tell you? Is that the truth? Whatever they're saying about you, is that the truth? No, it's not. It's a reflection of their character. So make sure that when someone is rude to you, that you keep your composure, you keep your cool, you keep your class, because whatever someone is doing or saying is a reflection of themselves, and you need to make sure that you stay classy, that you stay with your composure, and that you do the right thing in a moment like that. When it comes to friends, I have this very interesting observation. When I had a lot of money at first, I had a lot of friends, a lot of people. Everybody wanted something from me. Everybody came to me for money, and I was giving money away like it was nothing. But then when things changed, when I had no more money, I found out who my real friends are. So obviously money attracts a lot of people, but your true friends will reveal themselves when you have no more money. So sometimes act broke and find out who your friends are and see what happens. So my lesson to you is this. Obviously you need friends not when things are great, you need friends when things are bad. And you need to make sure that the friends that you have, the people that you hang around with, have their hearts in the right place. And they say that the 5 people that you are closest with, your 5 best or closest friends, so to speak, are a reflection of who you are, which means they have a similar social status, similar incomes, and so forth. So choose your friends wisely and make sure that sometimes if you have a negative friend, that you get rid of that friend, because you don't need that negative emotion or the person who can bring you down. And it's better to have less friends but real ones, than to have many friends.